Hey guys, it's your girl Cameron J, and today this is going to be like a long kind of video. I have a lot on my phone here to say, and the reason that I put it on my phone is that it's just so long and I'm gonna forget and I'm not gonna remember. I'm gonna start with a disclaimer because this has a lot of stuff that I need to say. So obviously, this video, as you read by the title, is about race, and I'm white and I've never been discriminated against, and I'm not trying to make myself the victim. It's never happened to me. I can't imagine how horrible that must feel like. But I want to do everything in my power to help in any way that I can, and I think that making this video is going to help. Maybe people are going to hate me for it. I don't know. Maybe people are going to thumbs down this video like insanely, but then I'll know that I was wrong. I didn't have the place to do this. But I know that people will leave hate comments for this being not my place to talk about this. And I just wanted to say that every racial minority, when you really think about it, I don't want to call them babies or say that they're victims or that they're weak, because they're not. They're stronger than I could ever be, if we're being completely honest. And because I could never deal with that on a daily basis. And granted, some people don't. Some people live in more liberal places and they don't have to deal with that, so they don't think that it's a problem, but in some places it is. They're the people who are discriminated against for something that is not a bad thing and something that cannot be changed and does not need to be changed. Because it's not a bad thing to be black, and you shouldn't have to change the color of your skin in order for people to accept you socially, or in any way at all, actually. Because it's not a bad thing, and you don't need to change it, and you shouldn't want to change it. I'm doing this because I see it happening too, even though I don't experience it. I want to prove that it's real. I want to say that it's not a tactic that they use to make people feel guilty for them. I've seen it happen. And of course, they're completely able to convince racially prejudiced people on their own. They have the complete and total ability to do that. I'm not doubting that at all. But when I have seen this happen, and not only that, but listen to other people tell much worse stories, I can either A, stand up for what's right, or B, be a bystander and watch this continue when it shouldn't. In one video, I can't change the world. I can't change the way things are. I don't think I'm even going to have the power to change anything. You know what I mean? I hope that maybe some people, or at least a few people, will finally, if they were not understanding before, now understand. But I know that I don't have the power to make everything change. I'm not that. I wish I did. I wish I had that power, but I just don't. And I'm making this video in spite of that, because I want something to get out of it. I want something to become out of this. So with that being said, and I hope that made sense, and if it didn't, then I just want to say, once again, I'm going to try to reiterate. Basically what I'm trying to say here is that this video was not supposed to be about whites saving the racial minorities, the poor victim racial minorities that can't do anything for themselves. That's not the way that the video is supposed to be. That's not my opinion on it. And that's just basically what I'm trying to say here. I'm sorry that I didn't actually say it. My microphone is being weird and it went all wacky for 5 seconds. So I apologize for that, and I apologize for this, but that's what I mean, and I don't mean any offense in that regard. So, but you can still take that as you will. Here's the actual story that happened in my family. But I hope you can enjoy this story, or not necessarily enjoy, but enjoy my way of telling it, A, and B, get something out of it. Because this is an important story, and it really did happen. It's not like I'm making this up. So, I was at home eating dinner with my family, and we were just sitting around talking, and it was a normal family dinner, and it was just really chill. I don't know how to explain that, but it was just we were talking, it wasn't a big deal until my cousin was asked about one of his friends who had gone to this private Catholic high school. And he had just recently got in, and it was supposed to be like a really good time for him because he was supposed to be starting high school. He was supposed to be, like getting his life together to go to college, things like that. But then my cousin says that this friend, we're going to give him a name, John. He said that John got expelled for saying the N-word. And then my family said that it was ridiculous because it was like reverse racism, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I tried to explain that reverse racism is not a thing, but they only believed what they wanted to believe and what they could see, you know what I mean? Like what they could only know and what they could only have seen in the past. They only believed that because they have that white privilege, because obviously they're white, and they cannot see what they've not experienced. And that's just, it's not their fault at the same time, but they should have tried to consider the other side of the story. And then my uncle said that the African American families, this is my cousin's father, by the way, he said that the African American families threatened to take their kids out of school and go to the media if the school did not expel John. And I think that that's a misconception. I don't think that they threatened the school and said, we're going to go to the media if this doesn't work out. Because that's what my uncle said. And he said that they were going to take all of their kids out of school. This would not expel John. I'm going to try to rephrase this. My family thought that the African American families of the school were blackmailing the principal of the school. And obviously, it would be bad if all of the families left and took their kids to different schools and stuff, because obviously that's less funding for the school, that's less tuition money that they're getting, etc. And it's either them or him. And that's what my family thought was happening. But even if they did do that, I wouldn't blame them, because I wouldn't want my kid, if I was African American or if I was any racial minority, I wouldn't want my kid to be in a school where he or she was being discriminated against for something that wasn't a bad thing and something that cannot be changed and doesn't need to be changed. And even if it is only saying the N-word, he should have understood what that meant by then. He was a freshman in high school, and the fact that he didn't understand what that meant even just proves the point more, that he shouldn't be at a school, at a private high school, where you're expected to be mature and responsible for your actions. This is what they don't understand. They were complaining about something that wasn't their problem. And I'm not saying that it's a problem, but I'm saying that they weren't the ones that got kicked out of school, yet they were complaining about it as if they had been personally affected by it, when the only thing that's really in common between John and the rest of my family is that they're both white. And also, they were making themselves the victim. This ties into that as well. They were making themselves the victim when they're not. So, white people being racist towards racial minorities, this has happened so many times. This has even been since slaves. It's horrible. And this meant that whites were always the majority. Whites were always the, guys on top, in a pyramid. They were always at the very top. And then later it became that majority meant being the bad guy. And then white people didn't want to be the bad guy anymore. So they say that the media is being reverse racist, and that reverse racism is a thing so that they can justify everything that they've done, when reverse racism isn't really a thing. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it happens sometimes where colleges will accept people based on not only their grades, not only their everything else. Sometimes when it really, really, really comes down to something, after they go through the grades, after they go through everything else, maybe it's sometimes for diversity. But diversity is a good thing, and we shouldn't discourage that. So basically, this little clip is just me saying that diversity is a good thing because we're all different and we're all like pieces of a puzzle that fit together to create this like awesome, great big picture, and we couldn't be anything without each other. And I sped it up, so that's that. And then the other thing is, this is going to go into a clip of me talking about something super random, and it relates to this tangent that I went off on, but it might not make sense at first, so just be aware of that. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes we do change things. Sometimes we can get people to understand the other side, but that doesn't always work that way, unfortunately, because people can only understand what they've seen and what they've known. They're trying to make themselves, essentially, the victim, when they're not. My great aunt and my great uncle and my mom and my dad, everyone who was sitting at that table, my cousins, everyone, they were not the victim of anything to do with race, because they were white and they had no reason to complain and they had no reason to do any of that stuff. And I'm not trying to bash my family or say that my family's horrible. I'm just saying that when you have ignorance, this is the type of stuff that happens. People think that they know what is happening and they think that it's not a big deal. Well, looky here. I have to do this again. I'm sorry. Super quickly. The reason that they think that it's not a big deal is because they haven't actually experienced the pain and the suffering that goes along with whatever hardship they're not experiencing. This can go for race, this can go for any type of discrimination, this can go for any type of struggle that you have in life that people think, oh, obviously that's not such a big deal, but they've never actually experienced it themselves. It's kind of like that whole, the grass is greener on the other side, but they've never actually been to the other side, so they wouldn't actually know. But yeah, that's basically what I was trying to say. And now I think this is the clip where it cuts to like me ending the video, so here you go. I don't really have much else to say, but I hope you understood this video. I really hope you didn't take offense to this video. If you did, I'm really, really sorry. Go ahead and leave a hate comment below so that I know what I'm doing wrong and so that I know why you hated it. That's about it. Yeah. I hope you guys liked this video or learned something from this video or something. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye! I forgot to tell you guys to subscribe. So subscribe.